A jar of jam was supposed to open Hollywood's most valuable door, but according to the explosive claims surrounding this story, Meghan Markle's carefully packaged gesture did not create a glamorous Montecito friendship. It allegedly landed in the rubbish and triggered a rejection so humiliating that the silence now sounds louder than any public feud.
Jennifer Aniston, who became famous in the TV series Friends, doesn't want a friendship.
She thinks that she's going to get famous by association, and she's not. And Jennifer Aniston she's not.
Rejected the fellow actress in the most mortifying manner after moving.
Tempered jam. That's gonna be the title to this video. That doesn't look like Meghan's. That doesn't. No.
Meghan Markle and Gwyneth Paltrow are setting the record straight. After rumors of a potential feud between the pair started brewing.
Caved, so disappointed because now she's going to get Markled. It's happened to everyone.
And wants nothing to do with the drama she creates around herself and with the royal family.
And it has opened a few more doors for her, but she's still finding a lot of doors slammed in her face. Kerry Washington's the perfect.
It's clever the way that Gwyneth has done it, and I'll get a little bit in depth in just one moment.
Jennifer Aniston is moving to Montecito. And for most people, that would just be a real estate story. But for Meghan Markle, it felt like something else entirely. An opportunity she had been waiting years for. The gifts started arriving almost immediately. Artisanal jams, luxury wellness products, invites for chats, even a spot on her podcast was quietly dangled. The moment news of the move surfaced, what could have been an ordinary neighborly welcome allegedly became something far more calculated. Because this was not simply a famous woman settling nearby, this was an internationally adored actress entering the exact social territory where Meghan Markle had reportedly been trying to rebuild influence, credibility, and celebrity connections. Suddenly, distance was no longer an obstacle, and the opportunity appeared almost too perfect. Gifts reportedly began arriving with striking speed, carefully presented artisanal products, luxury wellness items, friendly invitations, and the suggestion of a future recorded conversation. On the surface, everything looked thoughtful, warm, and harmless. Underneath, however, critics claimed there was a strategy waiting to unfold.
She doesn't want her jam. Meghan Markle awkwardly love-bombing Jennifer Aniston with cringy gifts and invites.
Sources close to the situation tell Radar Online that the gifts started flowing almost immediately. That detail changed the entire atmosphere because immediately suggests this was not a casual idea formed after an unexpected meeting. It suggests preparation, anticipation, and perhaps a plan that had been sitting quietly in the background. According to the account presented in the transcript, Meghan Markle had reportedly hoped to establish a connection for years, and the Montecito move merely created the opening she had been waiting for. The jam was therefore portrayed as more than food. It represented a lifestyle identity, a commercial vision, and a carefully designed introduction wrapped inside attractive packaging. The wellness products carried a similar message: this is my world, this is what I represent, and this is where you could fit inside it. It's a signature.
That doesn't look like Meghan's. That doesn't. No. That looks like they added actual jam.
It's tied directly to Meghan's lifestyle brand, her constructed image of wholesome, intentional, handcrafted living. But then came the response nobody behind this alleged charm campaign appeared prepared for. No enthusiastic message, no public photograph, no friendly acknowledgement that could later be turned into evidence of a blossoming celebrity bond. Instead, the gifts were reportedly discarded. The invitations allegedly went unanswered, and the hoped-for relationship froze before it had even begun. There was no dramatic confrontation to explain away and no angry statement to challenge. There was only silence, and silence leaves almost nothing that can be repackaged, corrected, or spun into a more flattering narrative.
She doesn't want her jam or her friendship. Angela Levin
confirmed that Aniston was fully aware of what was happening. She knew about the gifts, she knew about the invites, and she absolutely knew that Meghan wanted her as a guest on the podcast. Publicly, the rejection could be interpreted through the understandable desire for privacy and security after a disturbing stalking ordeal. Settling into a new home while protecting personal safety would give anyone a legitimate reason to avoid new commitments. Yet the transcript argues that this explanation does not fully account for the complete lack of engagement, particularly particularly if repeated gestures received no acknowledgement whatsoever. Angela Levin's interpretation was blunt. When somebody demonstrates that contact is unwanted, the dignified response is to retreat. Continuing to reach forward while the other person remains silent does not look increasingly friendly, it begins to look increasingly desperate. Then the darkest allegation emerged. Sources cited in the original account claim that the private word used to describe Meghan Markle was poisonous. That assertion remains an attributed claim rather than a verified public statement. But within this controversy, it transforms an awkward rejected gift into something far more damaging. It implies that the resistance was not about jam, timing, or an inconvenient move. It suggests fear of being pulled into a cycle of publicity, royal controversy, and manufactured association. And if that interpretation is correct, this was not merely a friendship that failed to begin. It was a door deliberately locked before anyone could create the appearance that it had ever opened. And the concern reportedly went beyond unwanted gifts, because Jennifer Aniston was said to be disturbed by the way Meghan Markle had treated the British royal family. A striking detail considering that an American actress had no obvious reason to involve herself in royal loyalties. Yet the pattern appeared serious enough to make distance feel necessary. The jam could not erase that history, the wellness products could not soften it, and no podcast invitation could disguise the danger of being publicly absorbed into another person's narrative. Gwyneth Paltrow had allegedly learned that lesson after trying to remain politely detached, only to find herself publicly connected through a video and repeatedly questioned about a friendship she had never clearly claimed. Jennifer Aniston reportedly watched that situation unfold and drew the line early, before a photograph, recording, or strategically timed appearance could permanently attach her name to the controversy. The wider pattern then became impossible to ignore. Jamie Kern-Lima, Sarah Blakely, and other influential entrepreneurs all offered status, audiences, and credibility capable of strengthening a struggling public image, making every visible connection appear less like spontaneous affection and more like a carefully selected acquisition. None of these relationships exist in quiet, private spaces away from cameras and podcasts and carefully timed social media moments. Sarah Blakely appeared on the podcast, bringing the authority of a billionaire businesswoman, while Jamie Kern-Lima offered the inspiring reputation of a self-made entrepreneur, yet an elderly Montecito neighbor offering nothing except kindness allegedly received a completely different response. Frank McGinty reportedly brought a documentary about local history as a sincere welcome, only to be turned away because there was no powerful platform or glamorous opportunity attached. Then came Jessica Mulroney, once so close that Jessica Mulroney's children participated in the royal wedding, but when scandal transformed that friendship from an asset into a liability, the bond collapsed with astonishing speed. That rupture raised the ugliest question of all. If years of loyalty could disappear when circumstances became inconvenient, what protection did any newer celebrity friendship really have? The contradiction soon moved from relationships into Meghan Markle's own public revelations. Privacy had once been presented as the reason for legal battles and resistance to scrutiny, yet increasingly personal disclosures began appearing through carefully controlled platforms. The controversy surrounding Lilibet became especially damaging after earlier suggestions that the late queen had approved the use of the cherished nickname were challenged by the palace, and later comments appeared to weaken the original account. Angela Levin argued that the shifting explanation amounted to an admission that the public had been misled. Further discussion about motherhood created another storm when advice from an acupuncturist about treating the mother first when a baby cries was shared as meaningful wisdom, reinforcing accusations that personal needs repeatedly remained at the center of every situation. Against that noise, Prince William's Daily Telegraph interview offered a devastating contrast. Prince William discussed the Duchy of Cornwall, tenants, community gatherings, pies and pints, while refusing to expose private disputes involving Harry, Catherine, or the children. The restraint itself became the message. Meanwhile, Harry continued invoking Princess Diana as someone who would supposedly support every decision made after leaving royal duties. But Angela Levin remembered Princess Diana as a woman who understood journalists, worked strategically with Richard Kay, and still formed genuine human connections without fabricating conversations. The comparison therefore did not protect Meghan Markle, it magnified the distance between image and behavior, and so everything returned to that discarded jar. Jennifer Aniston's alleged refusal became symbolic of Hollywood recognizing the pattern before another manufactured friendship could take shape. Gwyneth Paltrow had been linked, Jessica Mulroney had been abandoned, and Frank McGinty had been rejected, while Prince William demonstrated how powerful silence could become. Jennifer Aniston did not need a confrontation. The unanswered invitation delivered the verdict, the closed door protected the boundary, and the jam sitting unwanted in the bin left one spine-chilling question hanging over Montecito: who will be approached next? And who will finally decide that the price of saying yes is simply too high?